get marketed in a different way when you're dead. So one of the things you got to look at as soon as a celebrity dies is, was it a homicide?
Right.
You know what I mean?
From the guy's speech, it's clear that as of now, most celebrities passing is either due to the media or for the media, and after passing, most of them end up achieving impeccable success in the music they left behind. This was the case for Biggie Smalls, who about 25 years after his end, he is still cashing in money for Diddy.
Puffy has been making money off of Biggie's name for longer than Biggie was alive.
Clip Jaguar Wright was one among the many that were questioning Diddy and his involvement to Biggie's murder since he was signed under his company. Jaguar thought it was suspicious that no one was questioning the hip-hop mogul about what really happened to Biggie, and that it had been years since the young rapper passed, but still nothing has ever been said about what happened to him. The elephant in the room, of course, is who and why was Biggie Smalls unalived? Theories have been floated over the years, and one of the rumor being that his death was a coordinated hit in retaliation for Tupac's death 6 months earlier. An LAPD officer named Russell Poole, who worked as the lead investigator on Biggie's murder, believed that corrupt police officers may have had something to do with it, coordinating efforts with Suge Knight and Death Row Records. Now, ominously, he was ordered off the case before retiring in 1999, and according to Billboard, the guy was in the process of writing a book about the murders when he died of a heart attack in 2015. Suspicious? Now, another rumor started that Diddy might have had a hand in Biggie's death, since it turns out that Biggie was trying to leave Bad Boy Records and start his own record label. According to Gene Deal, Puffy's ex-bodyguard, Biggie had other things going on for him as an artist before his untimely death. Gene appeared on DJ Vlad's vlog just as he has been doing the past couple of years, and claimed the late rapper made moves to leave Bad Boy for a lucrative deal worth more than $60 million. The bodyguard, who claims he was close friends with Biggie, said he saw Big's Bad Boy contract when he had to watch over Diddy's briefcase during a flight, and that astonishingly it outlined Big's earnings in increments of $250,000 but left publishing income in Puff's possession. This seemed quite little for an artist like Biggie under such a big record label, so Gene decided to ask Biggie about it. And that was when the rapper allegedly told him about his new deal and all the money he'd make. Turns out Biggie found himself a lucrative deal in millions, and he was actually on his way out of Bad Boy Records. He showed me it had Charlie Baltimore, Cameron, Lil Cease, Lil Kim, Junior Mafia, Tracy Lee, and the Commission. He explained, "I think the contract was for so many years for like $62 million. It comes out to $62 million. Gene Deal also asserted that Big wanted to stop Junior Mafia's way of doing business, and he wanted them to start writing and holding their own. It seems like Biggie would have left Bad Boy Records with some of the other artists there because, according to G, Biggie had planned to keep Lil Kim under his wing and would have taken Deal along with him to the next label, but he believed the bodyguard was too loyal to Puffy. If any of this would have happened, Bad Boy Records would have taken a massive hit, both financially and in the entertainment sector, since Biggie was the star that helped keep Bad Boy up, and losing Biggie to another label would have meant losing an amazing artist and getting competition from wherever he would be." There was also the case that Gene claimed Biggie wasn't leaving by himself, and he would have carried other artists to his new label. This would have been another blow to Bad Boy and Diddy, who would have lost other excellent artists to Biggie, and that is why, when thought about in depth and detail, it seems plausible that Diddy had a hand in Biggie's death just a few weeks before Big released his last album with Bad Boy. For starters, Biggie had a right to leave the label whenever he felt like it because he had already given his all and had made a big name for Bad Boy all for a little cash. For someone who had had such an impact in music, his pay in Bad Boy was not ideal, and he seems to have finally realized this and looked for greener pastures. Now that he was going to increase his pay to $60 million, a bigger difference from Bad Boy's $250,000 he ended up getting shot. Now, it's very unclear whether the contract Deal had seen was legit, and since Biggie is no longer here, Deal claims that his Bad Boy contract may be hard to verify. Regardless of what the former bodyguard had seen, Biggie's mother, Valletta Wallace, also confirmed that her son was being paid crumbs when she discussed how much money he received when he signed on with the label. She wrote about it in her 2005 book, Biggie. Valletta Wallace remembers her son, Christopher. She said, "The truth is, Christopher accepted the illusion of a friend and mentor for about $25,000. That's the amount Puffy lured my son with. That was a lot of money for Christopher back then as a 19-year-old. He had never seen that much at one time in his life." Biggie's mother claimed the money was enough money to make her son believe that Puffy was ready to do anything for him. To Biggie, the money was enough to buy a blind love and loyalty. I guess Biggie's eyes finally opened and he realized he was working hard and being paid less, and that's why he must have wanted to leave. Gene wasn't the only one who knew that Biggie wanted to leave Bad Boy. Another artist, legendary musician, and producer Dame Dash also made some heads turn in a recent interview when he spoke on the late Notorious B.I.G. and shared some insight into the inner workings behind the scenes in the music industry. Dash claimed that prior to Biggie's death, he was poised to leave Bad Boy Records and sign with Dash and Jay-Z's Rockefeller empire. Now his story is super tricky to verify, but if true, the jump would have sent shockwaves throughout the rap industry and could have potentially led to even more bad blood than Biggie had with his West Coast rival Tupac. It would have been more plausible if he started his own company than going to Rockefeller Empire. But who knows, this might be the reason he was gone, because someone didn't want him in Rockefeller. Biggie's plan was to give Puff and them like 3 more albums, then come sign with us, and we were gone to the commission, Dash claims in the interview. He then went on to detail how Biggie planned to fast-track the 3 albums so he could be done with Bad Boy as soon as possible and get to work with Jay-Z and his team. It seems like Biggie's last album before he passed was his last album with Bad Boy, and since Diddy and the other executives knew that, ending the young boy's life would have tremendously benefited them, and it seems that just what happened. It all happened in 1997 while Biggie was out in LA to promote his new album, Life After Death, and hang out at the Soul Train Awards with his crew, and after the event he was on this way to an awards show after party when Biggie and his caravan of 3 SUVs stopped at a red light. Eerily, just like his all-time rival Tupac before him, a car pulled up alongside the SUVs. It was a Chevy Impala, and mob beside Biggie's car had opened fire. Smalls was hit by 4 rounds, and unfortunately he later died away at Cedars-Sinai Medical Center due to complications during an emergency thoracotomy. Biggie was only 25 at the time of his death. Surprisingly, Notorious B.I.G. released Life After Death posthumously, just weeks after his death, and the double album was critically acclaimed and still ranks among the best albums of all time to this day. It rose to fame more because its artist had died previously, and also the fact that Biggie, however young, was already a legend in the hip-hop scene. The album, featuring tracks like Hypnotize, Going Back to Collie, and Long Kiss Goodnight, was a bomb, and one can only imagine how amazing the 3rd disc to this album would have been. In the music scene at the time, artists were being criticized for releasing double albums that had filler songs just to stretch it out, but for Biggie, Life After Death has too many great songs to count. His death greatly benefited Diddy and Bad Boy Records, and there's that untold truth that Diddy would not be who he is right now if it weren't for Big and his music. A fan on Twitter said, Diddy had Biggie killed, kept the rights to his music, then messed up by not get permission to I Be Missing You. So Sting also profited from Biggie's death. Another said, Diddy killed Biggie, set up Tupac, blamed it on Suge, ruined Lil' Kim. Had the world wearing Sean John. I don't trust him. Anyways, let's not forget that this video is based on theories and my opinions and should not be considered facts. That's it for this video. Bye.